Good afternoon, bonjour, Annie. My name is Kimberly Wahama Deshane, and I am the Operations and Events Manager at Northern Ontario Angels. And today I'll be your moderator. Northern Ontario Angels is one of the top angel organizations in North America. We've been instrumental in closing 465 deals since our inception, totaling more than $663 million. We are governed by a regional board of directors, and our new executive director, Ian Lane, on staff with myself. We have 8 part-time consultants on the ground who are working with entrepreneurs to prepare them to become investment ready. They also sign up new investors across the region. Sorry, my computer just had a glitch there. Across the region and around the world to help the entrepreneurs build their businesses and provide jobs and economic development across Northern Ontario. If you have questions, we'd like to put them in the chat, or you can unmute your video and audio at the end of the presentation. We are recording this event to share on our social media and our website. We will begin this event, Designing Innovation, co-hosted with Thunder Bay Hydraulics and Northern Ontario Angels, by acknowledging that we are meeting virtually on Aboriginal land that has been inhabited by Indigenous peoples from the beginning. We acknowledge all the treaties and traditional territories on which all of you gather in attendance today. Jamie Crozier has a career background in industrial sales and distribution. He grew up in Southern Ontario and came to Thunder Bay in 2012 to raise his family. Thunder Bay Hydraulics was established in 1969, and Jamie joined the family business in 2018. At that time, Thunder Bay Hydraulics did hydraulic and pneumatic cylinder repairs and manufacturing, industrial maintenance, and welding. Today, Jamie will tell the story of how the company expanded into the design innovation space. Please welcome Jamie Crozier.
Hey, thanks, Kim, for that introduction. It was pretty good. So today I would like to, tell the story of myself, and then tell the story of Thunder Bay Hydraulics, and then kind of what we've been doing the past couple of years to, further our product development and to further our space, specifically in the hydraulic car parking systems. So just a little bit about me. As Kim mentioned, I grew up in Southern Ontario, 2 hours from Toronto, right on the 401. There's a small town called Sterling. I grew up there. I came to Thunder Bay in 2012. I followed my now wife here in Thunder Bay, and now we're raising our small family. If it seems like I have bags under my eyes, my wife actually gave birth 7 days ago to a baby boy, and we're a little bit tired, but that's beside the point. So I spent most of my career in industrial sales and distribution in 2 companies, one called Fastenal and one called Gillivan, focusing mainly on in northwestern Ontario. Both in industrial products, and then moved on to electrical products before coming here to Thunder Bay Hydraulics. So I came to Thunder Bay Hydraulics 2018, and so it's been 4 years, just under 4 years now with Thunder Bay Hydraulics, and it's been great. So when I came here, we had a real focus on 2 things: manufacturing, but also repairs. So in Northwestern Ontario, we have a large market of mining companies, and we do a lot of repair work specifically on hydraulic cylinders here. And that is a large part of our business and has been since the 1980s. But also, I was really interested in the manufacturing business that we had, and trying to grow that in Thunder Bay, and then grow that market that we have, not only in Canada, but also into the US. So in the manufacturing space, we do 2 things: hydraulic and pneumatic cylinders, and then hydraulic scissor lifts. So of those 2 things, we've been manufacturing cylinders for almost 20 years now. And we've got a great design team here, as well as the manufacturing capabilities behind us. And all that work is done in Thunder Bay, which we're really proud about. And then about 12 years ago, we started designing and manufacturing hydraulic scissor lifts, which was a new market for us back then, and still continues to be a bit of a new market, but at least we have some expertise now. And for a long time, we've been designing and manufacturing one particular system called, we call it the VTS2 car parking system. So essentially, I'm going to put some slides here because I've forgotten to skip ahead here. So essentially, this system is a car parking system. And what happens is that the homeowner, they're typically installed in residential places. So the homeowner uses it not only as a showpiece, but also as for functional for parking. So typically the homeowner would drive their car onto the platform. The platform would go either up or down for storage into another area of their garage. Now, what we hadn't considered in the past was the user experience. So that really is the problem that I saw when I came here in 2018. And then it's only in the last couple of years where we've actually, gone out and done research and done some design work to tackle this problem. So historically, we've only been designing it from the functional point of view. We do a really good job designing it so that it works, designing it so that it's safe, and designing it so that it's easy to install. But what we had never really considered before was the actual user experience. So the way our old system works is that the homeowner would park their car on the platform. They would get out of their car, go use an industrial hand control, and then lift the platform up, and then go back to the car if they have to move it further, or if it just is left on the platform, they just leave it there. But essentially, the homeowner would have to get out of the vehicle in order to move the lift. And we did that on purpose because it followed some very strict safety considerations. However, this new lift that we're just about done designing is what we call a driver on board lift. So we actually designed the unit so that the homeowner could drive their car onto the platform and move with the lift. So you actually move it yourself while you're still in the vehicle using a series of controls. So one of these other problems that we saw back is that we're losing market share to some European competitors by not offering that user-centric approach. And so there's competition out there, both from Italian companies and from some companies in Switzerland that are trying to bridge over to North America, which is frustrating for us because we're here. But that is happening, which is why we went out and tried to design a new style. So one of the things, we looked at, so this was back in 2020, was, okay, do we have the capacity to do this internally, or is this something that we need to do externally? So one of the things that I thought that we could do is, I have mechanical engineers here, I have a good design team, I have good fabricators, and I thought that, it would be best to do it internally. I thought that it would be cheaper, and I thought that we have the expertise to do that. But one thing I noticed very quickly is that we relied only on our experiences. So when we looked at our experiences, we thought we're really good at building these things. We're really good at designing them so that they work, but we didn't really understand how they were being used. And again, we didn't really look at it from the homeowner's point of view. So, my suggestion here, for other people looking at this is that sometimes you have to look outside of your core business to really understand what you want and what you want your product to do. So once we did that, I quickly found out that it's much better and much more professional to seek outside help. And as I found out in the long run, it's actually cheaper. And that's because there are vendors that are out there that typically have some experience, or at least have some expertise that sometimes are better than your own. And that's what happened in my case. We got connected to a fairly large network of different designers and different manufacturers who have helped me really solidify this product in this space. So one of the things that we saw right away is that when you actually are moving our lift, especially in the old style, you're using a yellow, horrible industrial hand control. And it doesn't really, I mean, the unit looks great, it's painted well, it functions perfectly, but your only real interaction with the unit, our old unit, is this red button, yellow hand control. It's as if you're moving an industrial product or something. It's as if you're in a warehouse, essentially. So one of the things that I wanted to change is the overall look of it. Not only will that change how you use the product, but kind of how you feel about it, which sounds, not that great, but it really has a profound effect on the homeowner, who's the ultimate person who's going to use this. So I wanted to make sure that it looks great and works great. One of the things that our product offers also is that it's really easy to install. So sometimes our competitors say that theirs are easy to install. It only takes a couple of weeks for them to install. Ours, it's less than a day. And for the general contractor or the guys installing the unit, if I go to someone and I say, hey, this is a car parking system, this is my car parking system, and they ask me how long does it take to install, I say, it's less than a day, and they are shaking my hand, right away. They say, thank you very much. You only need the crane for a day. And I say, yep, that's all I need. And they say, wow, this is incredible, because other people take 2 weeks, 3 weeks, sometimes 4 weeks for the thing to be fully installed. So I, again, not mentioning any specific competitors, but I truly believe that ours is the first to market, and the first one that's really focused on the user and not anything else. And so what we've done is we knew that our units are already built with integrity. They're already built with all of the safety factors. In fact, we've included a really neat camera system in the control unit on our new versions. So that allows, if you're moving the lift and you're in your car, you can actually see the upper platform, which is really neat. Kind of gives the homeowner an extra sense of safety. And I truly believe that we're the first ones to really go about it. That is a luxury item. And that's really what these units are. We have a lot of experience behind us. I've got over 300 of these units out in North America, primarily in the US, although we do have some units in Toronto and a couple of units out in Vancouver and Victoria, BC. One other thing that we did on this new unit is really be able to customize it. So one of the things that we tried to do in the marketplace with our old unit was we said, you know what, this is the standard lift that you get, but if you want to try and customize it, we can do a custom color, which is really great, but it's only one small thing. So on our new units, we can actually customize almost anything. Customized deck plates to different coatings on it, different colors on the columns, motor upgrades, all kinds of different things that actually allow either the general contractor or the homeowner themselves to choose these and really customize the product for themselves. And I think this was absolutely necessary because, you know, it gives someone, you know, control over the situation. So, you know, they're still going to be built with the same frame, the same internals to the lift. It just, we're going to allow a better user experience. And it's just a little bit about some of the things that we've done in the last couple of years in order to do some research on this new model. There's a little bit about some of our competitors that I was talking about. We love that we manufacture these in Thunder Bay. I love how close we are to the border. It allows me to ship into the US. Well, recently it's more challenging, but it has been very, very easy for us to ship across the border, easy and fast. Especially, you know, in comparison to companies that are not in North America. You know, I can ship a unit down to California in 2 days and across to Seattle in 2 days, right? And again, when we tell general contractors that we can install in less than a day, it's pretty incredible. Yeah, I mean, I think you know, one of the big things that I just wanted to mention is you know, we just tried to think differently about the way that we thought about the lift and how it was actually being used from the homeowner's point of view. And I think, you know, that really led me on a different path. You know, when I first came here, it was about production. It was about manufacturing, which is all very important. It's just, you know, sometimes you need to take a step back and really consider, you know, who are you building this for? Why are you building it? What are they using it for? You know, in many ways, it's an industrial product that we make, but in many ways, it's almost like a lifestyle product. And so once I stopped and really thought about it, it really sent us on a different path, and I'm proud of, you know, that path that we were able to go. And I'm proud that, you know, later this fall we're going to install our first driver on board unit in a custom home being built just outside of Seattle on Lake Oswego, which is an incredible place, and I'm pretty excited. They're going to have one unit, but they're going to actually have 5 control units. And, I actually have one. Well, I'll show you a picture first, and then I'll show you the real thing. So this is one of the most recent renderings that we have. So you can see I've got a fancy car in there, but you can see the lift painted in kind of a light gray. We're starting to brand our new units as Auto Space, which is fantastic. I love the name. You can kind of see that. And then I've got a small video here. It's only 10 seconds long. It's not long. Now you can see the control podium. So this is the one that we designed. You can see the control podium is not actually going to be outside the lift. It's going to be on the lift, but you can see how it looks against the car. That's why we put it out there. That's the unit, and that's the rendering of it. I've got the top portion of it here just to, you know, kind of see what it looks like. It's got a touch screen, and that'll sit on top of the podium, as you can see there. And you can customize it with any kind of graphics on the bottom part, and you can actually customize the screen to, if you wanted a particular screen or a particular car to pop up on that screen that you can see there, we can customize it as per the homeowner, which is pretty neat. Kim, I don't know if you have any questions. I feel like I talked pretty quickly there.
Oh, you did great, Jamie. Do you want to put it on your thank you slide, and then we open it up for questions?
Yeah, of course.
Does anybody have any questions for Jamie? It's a quiet bunch today. I have a question, Jamie, on price point. How much, so I'm in the States, I'm gonna order this custom made from you.
Right.
What does it cost me from top to bottom to get it in my house?
Yeah, that's a great question. So our old units are running, I mean, installed, running about 100,000 US. That's fully installed, typical unit, not really customized. These new units, we're still playing with it a little bit because we've only built one prototype so far. But we're thinking 150, 160, and then a $20,000 install fee. So, you know, I'm still a little bit weary on it because I don't have everything fully costed, but we're close in those ranges.
Would you also want to talk about the design? Because you had hired people from where was it? I can't remember, sorry.
That's okay. From Squint and from RDS.
Squint, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you know, just again, sometimes it's really hard to ask for help. And I felt that at the start. I did not want to ask for help. I thought that we had more than enough capabilities internally to take on a project like this. And I thought, you know, who's better to look at something new than the people who have been building units for over a decade, right? But sometimes it's better to ask for help, and it's better to reach out to a network where, you know, maybe someone else has more expertise on this. Like we have a lot of electrical experience, but we also don't know everything. And this unit is very, very complicated. And it's got a whole computer system behind it, including hardware and software, which is not our core business. And it was so great when you get to connect with the right people and work with other somewhat like-minded people on a project, because it builds excitement and you get a better product, as I've seen, in the end.
Great, we have a question here. So you're manufacturing a product. How does that translate into a service? I think I know my client base and why they are using my service. How can I see a service differently than a product?
Yeah, that's a great question. We do both things here at Thunder Bay Hydraulics. Not only do we manufacture, but we also provide a number of different services. Sorry, can you repeat the last part of that question?
I think I know my client base and why they are using my service. How can I see a service differently than a product?
Service is almost like a relationship. When I think about some of the services that we provide, I think about the relationship that we have with those particular customers. And it's not really, in that case, it's not really about the product. It's about how you can help your customer or how you can provide that service for them. You know, we do services here locally for places like grocery stores and for places like pulp and paper mills. And always the service is a little bit different, but it's kind of always the same thing. You know, you're asked to do something, you fulfill your obligations and you provided that service, but it's kind of about the relationship that you have. And I like that part. I mean, you know, manufacturing a product is a lot different than that, but after you manufacture the product or after you've sold the product, then you provide the service, either through installation or through maintenance programs or through, I don't know, just checkups. You know, sometimes we go back after 2 years and we say, you know, things like, is the lift functioning properly? Is there anything? Are there weird noises? Do you need oil? You know, those things kind of go hand in hand, right? I don't know
Are
if
there
that
any
really
other questions?
answers the
Did
question.
that answer your question, Don? Yes, thank you. And it's really about the trust too, right, Jamie? I mean,
Yeah, I mean, you have to have enough trust where your customer is asking something of you. And, you know, the chances are that if they're asking you something, they already know that you can do it. And you just got to fulfill those obligations and they'll come back. Right?
what's your 5-year goal?
I have many. For the car lifts in particular, I think we would like to have, you know, we'd like to double our production. So we do, you know, between 16 and 20 of these units a year. I'd like us to see 40 to even 50 per year. And I'd like to really focus on this new style, both in Canada and in the US. You know, we've thought about plans on exporting to the UK, but I'm still a little bit wary about that because I know that there are competitors who are closer, and that scares me a bit. But in terms of that, you know, I think to double production and then to really focus on this new unit would be great. And then for our core business, obviously we'd love to manufacture even more hydraulic cylinders to become, you know, one of the best Canadian manufacturers of cylinders out there.
Jamie, what about warranty? How does that work?
Warranty on the units itself?
Mhm.
Yeah, so typically we'll warranty the hydraulic power pack, the cylinders, and the electrical system for 2 years. And then we'll warranty the structure for 10 years. You know, typically either there's issues with a button or with the control panel, maybe even hydraulic cylinders on the lift, but we don't usually see a whole lot of warranty stuff. But, you know, part of that is because I think we do a good job on maintenance programs and checkups, like I had mentioned.
So if you've got a customer in the States, how are you doing the maintenance? Or is this virtual or?
No, some of it is, but more often than not, we're asking partners to go do service calls for us. And, you know, so in the US, you know, most of our units are in Southern California. We have partners down there that can do service calls for us. And then we also rely on them to do some things for installs as well.
Sorry, I'm asking all these questions, but
That's good.
I'm just wondering too, like if you're shipping this down, is it come in one big piece or is it built up here and shipped down south? What do you do for that?
That's a great question, Kim. So that, I mean, that's the beauty of our units. And that's the beauty of manufacturing them here in Thunder Bay, is because we can do things like ship complete units from Thunder Bay to California, Thunder Bay to Seattle. One, it's really not expensive when comparing it to shipping from places like Italy and Germany. And that makes sure that we can keep that install time down to a day or less. So typically when we ship a unit, we ship the unit complete. We take off the columns, which are bolted on to the upper platform and the lower platform. And then I mean, obviously we provide instructions, and then we send everything down to an installer, either ours or another team, and they put it together and then hook it up. So is very installer friendly, very easy, very fast.
Okay, we have
That's
another
one.
question.
Yeah, sorry.
That's great. We have another question. Your product is an exclusive luxury item, so the client base would be smaller than a broad base. How can you take what might be seen as exclusive product and create more interest in a wider demographic? So how do you convince people that it is possible for them to see themselves with this item?
That's a good question. I mean, this product is definitely like a niche product. One thing that we've been able to do is tailor the design to not only that luxury market, but also to a wider general market. So one of the things that I didn't mention as part of that 5-year plan is taking the design that we've done for this one and really applying it to other hydraulic scissor lifts out there. So one of the research projects that we undertook summer of 2020 is trying to figure out what's going on with big office complexes, what's going on with major urban centers and lack of space. So I mean, this is a bigger problem in Europe, but it is coming to the US, and we're already seeing it in major urban centers in the US. People are using parking systems like ours in new builds of hotels and in new builds of office complexes. And so one of the things that we're toying with is, how do we make this faster? And how do we make this commercially viable to, tackle things like hotels? I was just reading an article. One of the craziest things happening in Germany right now is there are things called car hotels. So you go to Germany, you're driving your car, you want to park your car with you, not in the parking garage, or there's no room for a parking garage. There's actually an elevator that you can drive your car onto, and it takes you straight up to your room. I'm in room 301. I park my car in garage 301, which is right beside your room, and then you go to your hotel room. It's crazy. It's very expensive, but things like that are going to come to North America. If they're not already here now, they will come soon. And we're starting to look into things like that.
Are there any other questions? Okay, thank you so much, Jamie. I'd now like to thank everyone for participating in our presentation today. And I'd like to thank our funding agencies, FedNor and NOHFC, and our partners, BDO, Bearskin and Parr, Motion Arc Studios, N1 Solutions, Firedog Communications, and Squint Innovation. You can find NOA on our social media and sign up for our e-newsletter at northernontarioangels.ca. Have a great afternoon, everyone. Stay safe. Thank you. Merci, miigwech.